Hey, welcome back. I want to apologize for not being up. I did put up a video where I was explaining it. Been dealing stuff with a family member. They're dying of pancreatic cancer. It's pretty awful, and they needed they needed more, and I still don't know. And I just want to be honest with everybody because I do appreciate even the bad support from the idiots. I do appreciate it, but this was mostly something for me to do while I was waiting for the end. And the hospice nurse thinks she's either near or entering the final stages. To explain that, it's like this is where they think she's gonna die. Now, whether it's a day, couple weeks, or a month, they have no idea. But they think this is the end of it. And I've been sleeping down there with her, and she's to the point now where she really can't communicate too much with you. The other day, she woke up at 3 in the morning and couldn't breathe, and that was the first time she's mentioned my name in like a couple weeks, or no, well, not a couple weeks, but like several days, like the better part of a week, if not a week, the better part of a week. And she basically said my name needed help, you know. And a couple days before that, it was like diarrhea city. I mean, there was one night where she like evacuated her bowels. I spent a fair amount of time wiping her up. Called the hospice nurse, asked for help. It was an on-call nurse. It was like 3, 4 in the morning, and they basically said they don't really come and help you with that. I don't think she understood what it was, but fine. I don't have time to argue. And I spent like from the start of it waiting a half an hour to get a call back from the nurse, and then finishing up. I spent almost an hour wiping up shit, and then finally just told her, "Look, I'm really sorry, but I just got to put a diaper on you and wait." Because with my health issues, I was getting lightheaded. I was getting pretty close to passing out, and I just and not from the smell. It really didn't smell as bad as I thought it would. But I just, with what happened to me when I was working at GM, I just couldn't do it, and I apologized to her, and then found out from the nurses that that's fairly normal. But I really do want to thank everybody, and I don't want to waste any more time talking about this. Thank you for meeting the goals. I This one I don't think we're gonna meet, and I'm just at this point I'm not that worried about the goals. The topic of this one, I'll be talking about Ginni Thomas and her testimony to the J6 committee. Let's get that queued up.
Joining me now is Glenn Kirshner, a former federal prosecutor, host of the Justice Matters podcast, and an MSNBC legal analyst. Glenn, so happy to have you here. I really cannot wait to talk to you about Ginni Thomas. Now, she claims her efforts to overturn the election never came up in conversations with her husband. Let me be the first to say, we don't believe you. You need more people. Honestly, who believes that they weren't talking about this? What's your take?
Yeah, extremely hard to believe, Tiffany, particularly when she was texting Mark Meadows in the context of urging him to contest and try to overturn the results of the presidential election. And in those very texts, she was talking about the conversations I am having with my, quote, best friend. Reporting that is the term she uses to describe her husband, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. So do any of us believe that she was not involved in conversations with her best friend, her husband, about her efforts to overturn the election? Very hard to believe. Is there objective proof that can be introduced to the J6 committee that she was lying about that? Maybe, maybe not. But what I will say, Tiffany, is there is proof that I think puts the lie to her statements to the J6 committee about her claim that the election was stolen.
Well, something I think would be interesting is to hear from Jordan Peele's character inspiration for Get Out, Mr. Justice Clarence Thomas himself. What's the legal precedent of having him testify before the January 6th committee? I mean, we've never seen anything like this, but certainly he would be able to offer some insight here. I know we could get into touchy areas because they're married, so I don't know that he would be able to necessarily offer testimony against his spouse. How would all that work?
Yeah, different jurisdictions have different spousal privileges in place. Most of them guard against courts or governments ever being able to compel somebody to testify about private communications between two spouses. So
Sorry about that. Didn't have the mic back on. I only got a couple things I want to comment to them. I'm gonna try and keep it at or around 10 minutes for this. Anybody that wasn't around for the Iran Contra issue, Congress, when they were investigating, I don't think they did anything wrong, but I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a legal expert. But they did things that then, when these people were tried and they went to jail, they were able to appeal and they got out on appeal. So, like when he's talking about, so there's some jurisdictions that don't allow you to testify against a spouse, I would be okay if they left that alone. As much as I'd like to see him hauled in there to testify, and I think legally they should, Pearl Harbor, 9/11, I would say that terrorist attack on our capital by the terrorist cult that is the Republican Party should warrant bringing in any of the judges, anybody from Congress. But if there's a chance where this might allow someone to get out of prison later, yeah, leave that alone. Just that thought. Maybe leave that alone. Uh, what I do think is, yes, can you prove, and he's like, maybe, maybe not. But what I think they can prove, and he was talking about this, is she lied, when she said that she thought the election was stolen. Unless she can show evidence that she's like mentally incompetent and should be locked up, I think they can show that she lied. And just like Martha Stewart went to jail for a year for lying to the federal government. I think Ginni Thomas should go to jail for lying to Congress. I think members of the FBI that gave Congress like written reports on the Justice Kavanaugh investigation should likely be investigated and go to jail for lying to Congress, because they've come forward. Oh yeah, but when we do this, well, you did this. You gave it to Congress. You knew you were whitewashing this. Those people in charge of the FBI, maybe even the director, should maybe go to jail for that, for lying to Congress. And the other thing I would say is, it was not that long ago, it's within the last couple months, they had some right wing nut job that was testifying in front of the House about the abortion issue. And I think it was Swalwell who was asking them, well, like when a girl is raped, you don't want her to be able to get an abortion. And that person went in and said, oh, well, because they're wrong on the issue and they know it. And so she lied, and she's like, oh, well, if a young girl is raped, then it's not abortion if she gets rid of the kid. And they had a medical expert on there, somebody with a medical background, and he asked her, and she's like, look, whether you were raped or not, it does not change the status of the medical procedure. She goes, whether you're raped or whether you're not, it's still an abortion. And I texted or I tweeted him, and I'm like, look, you guys need to put her forward, and again, I'm gonna tag in the speaker, I'm gonna tag in the president when I post this video. If Congress doesn't want to give like criminal referrals, well, then somebody needs to fucking wake Merrick Garland up from his nap and actually have him bring charges against these people. Because if these right wing nut jobs suddenly start getting, held accountable for their misbehavior, for their criminal acts, they might actually, maybe not them, but the next ones might stop it. They might not do it. And then, the other thing I want to mention, this is the last thing I want to mention on this, is with Ginni Thomas. I remember when Hillary Clinton was brought before House committees. I don't remember if this was the Senate, but it was definitely the House committees. And she was brought before them. And I remember watching some of the questioning. And these people, first of all, they brought her in for Benghazi. And if you look at the history of Benghazi, um, anybody that is too stupid to understand that, you know, 4 Americans dying in the Middle East during a civil war, you know, I, it's not that unusual. I mean, that it's a dangerous place for us in good times. So when there's a civil war going on, anybody that didn't realize that it was dangerous and you shouldn't scapegoat it was probably too stupid to be in government, whether it's Congress or the executive branch or a judicial branch. And but some of the questions they were asking, like when they had Hillary, and it might not have just been Benghazi, it might have been over that server she had and all this other shit. Some of the questions they were asking her, oh, well, who were you sleeping with? Where were you sleeping? Were you alone? And I mean, it was just some really insulting stuff. So the one thing I want to throw out there is for these Democrats that are on the J6 committee or elsewhere, and really, to be fair, the J6 committee, uh, it's showing what you can do with these committees when you don't have criminals and children on there. They didn't allow Jim Jordan and some of these other fucking lunatics on there. And they're actually doing really good work. So maybe this shouldn't go on the J6 committee, but like maybe in the regular committees, they should bring her in. And when she tells them that, oh, well, me and my husband don't talk about this, she should be asked point blank, is this because you are mentally deranged and he doesn't want to hear your delusions? They should really, because it would be it would be at least even on some level with what they did to Hillary. And if they start doing this to Republicans, maybe, well, one, maybe the Republicans will quit breaking the law. And two, maybe they'll treat the Democrats a little more decently when they come in there. And the fact is, unlike Hillary Clinton, Ginni Thomas looks like she should go to jail for committing a crime. That's all I got today, and let's get this over with. I want to thank everybody. I just haven't been posting videos, so my channel hasn't been as active, and that's my fault. That's on me. I think this is kind of winding down, anyways. But I want to thank everybody. If you have any comments, go ahead and leave them down there. And I want to thank everyone. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as soon, maybe this weekend, but definitely, I will do my best after she passes to respond to the. I will honestly do that, and I'm gonna try and do, because I got a moment where she's doing okay, and I'm gonna try and make some videos. But if I get a chance between now and the weekend, I will go ahead and respond to the comments that I've got. I really hope everybody is having a better time than me. Peace out, and I hope everybody has a great day.